Hi, welcome to The Pursuit of Being a Stand-Up Leader. I'm Jared Wittman. I'm here with John Russell, and we're breaking down John's book, The ABCs. Well, Be a Stand-Up Leader, The ABCs of Getting the Job Done Right.
Right.
I was getting ahead of myself.
Also known
there.
as the ABCs of doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing. Being a stand-up leader. We're breaking down his book chapter by chapter, and that's what we've been doing for what feels like the last year.
Yeah, we've been working on it. It's kind of a fun project.
It is a fun project. We get to have conversations. You get to see things from John's point of view, my point of view, and a little bit of everything in between. On this episode, we're talking about the needs and wants. And I was looking, so in research today, it was like I had some ideas, and then I got down into your book a little bit further, and then you were talking about the needs and wants of the customer.
Right.
And I was taking it from a perspective as doing it with a client. So looking
Similar.
Yeah, looking at like building marketing strategies.
Well, there's another subject.
Yeah.
Client needs analysis.
Yeah. Client needs analysis.
That's a different subject.
Well, needs and wants. Well, I just did this with a customer where we built out their marketing plan, right? Their strategy on the first spreadsheet that I have.
Right.
Like, well, let's spend. If you had all the money in the world, what would you want, right? What do you want? What do you need?
List?
Your wish list, right? And then we would kind of look at that after everything was on the list, and we know what the budget is. And now it's like, okay, well, what do you need for the marketing strategy over the next year? And let's say I think we had like 100K left over that you could kind of put into, I want this for other things, and we could use it for that, but it was focused in on what the customer needed for the marketing strategy. That was how I approached it.
So I read an interesting article today.
Yeah.
About the movement in advertising right now towards branding. Branding, from a messaging standpoint, is different than a call to action.
Okay.
It's different than a performance-driven, there needs to be an activity attached to the ad.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because companies and corporations across the United States are realizing that if they don't continue to keep their brand forward ahead of their specific offers and their calls to action and their performance-based messaging, they're missing out on the ability to tell their stories.
Yeah.
I know that's a sidebar, but it relates back to using video for podcasts and audio in general. And there's also a movement towards, of course, a lot more people are using audio, both electronically with radio, digitally with social media, and then online with video.
Yep.
But let's think about this just for a second as it relates to the chapter.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about needs and wants and client needs analysis briefly, because it's a different subject.
It's like it's two different areas, right?
Right.
You're looking at the needs and wants of the customer focused needs and wants,
Right.
right? And then there's also like taking a step back and looking at it from a client, so like the business itself,
Right.
what their needs and wants are. So let's focus in on the customer
so
first.
I think about this from an advertising point of view. The reason why needs and wants is in here is because from a creative standpoint, the messaging strategy that a stand-up leader would use is different for needs than it is for wants.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a want is a hope. A want is an emotional desire.
Yeah, I think it's like you're driving valuable information to the customer about their want. So
Right.
going back to like an HVAC company, helping drive the value of a whole home humidifier during the wintertime,
Right.
to reduce the effects that it could have on people
Right.
and whatnot, that could provoke a want for this thing.
Same thing for an air purifier.
Yep.
That would be a want.
Yep.
I don't need that,
Yep.
but I want it because I want to be healthy.
Yep.
It's emotional.
Yep.
And what happens is people will justify their wants and their purchase of things they want after the purchase by logically trying to justify the purchase in their mind and compartmentalize it, and then come up with a justification for, well, I wanted that air purifier for this reason, that reason, this reason, and the other reason. And they're laying out what they perceive to be needs, but they're really just justification of their want.
I think to piggyback off that, like if you're doing a good job as a marketer, like relaying that valuable information leading up to a point of, it's now the go time for this, like so many months of messaging, like, hey, a whole home air purifier could do this for you during the winter time. Whole home air, because more people are in their homes in the winter, so the air is circulating around. You're breathing in the same air more often.
Right.
So the messaging compiled over time, and now maybe they're at this point of now they're feeling the sickness, and maybe that's more of a justification in their head, like, oh yeah, an air purifier would be more beneficial right now, and I want that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's just an interesting differential because, wants are emotional and optional, and good advertising campaigns address customers' needs and wants, but they don't necessarily come in the same message.
Right.
And that's why a campaign that first addresses people's emotional connection with their wants and their wishes comes first. And then as time goes along, I've always tried to tell people about how advertising works. It's as simple as this. In order for you to make a purchase, a triggering event has to occur that's going to force you to buy new. Like my friend's dishwasher just died. That's a need. Now, does he want a new dishwasher? He probably didn't really want to spend $1,200 or whatever the going rate is for a dishwasher.
Yeah.
But that's a classic example. So if you're going to write a commercial to sell dishwashers, you could talk about all the nice features and bells and whistles and all the new things that come with it. But really, when it comes down to it, if it breaks, here's where you buy it. Mm-hmm. It's two different messages. So you have to think about that when you put together creative. Another interesting thought about needs and wants is good branding and bonding ads. Bonding ads are like branding ads, but they're to further strengthen the relationship between the consumer and the seller. And bonding means we're going to work towards having a relationship over time. They educate the public about the hard facts, company, products, services you offer that can solve the problems. But since we don't know when a triggering event will occur with a consumer, you need to have a consistent approach to your advertising and content publishing to educate the market that the solutions you provide will solve their problems, needs, and wants. So you have to address those wants. You have to specifically label them. It's another cool thing that I learned. Labeling things is easier for people to understand and say that applies to me. That's my situation. So, ad messaging only directed towards a need without an emotional connection to a want is falling short. That's why this is in here, because you have to know enough about how to write ads and create content that addresses both the needs and the wants, and they don't necessarily run together.
Right.
I'm not saying that they can't run together after you make a case for either or. Maybe a good closing ad would be a combination approach where we know this is what you want, and now we know that you need it. So here we are, we have the solution. So a great campaign would be emotional side. Let's advertise the wants. This is what people are hoping for. This is what they're wanting. And then you run that for a while, and then you switch back to these are the needs that people have when things become dire, when a triggering event occurs that you have to absolutely make a purchase. That's the now buyer too.
Yeah.
At the same time, we'll talk about that a little bit. So blend an emotional appeal into your messaging strategy that supports the want while still bringing customers' needs to the forefront. That's really it. Needs and wants. Two different types of ads.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever experienced that. I know working in the home services fields like you have, I think a lot of those types of ads are more need oriented.
Yeah.
Like if your furnace goes out in the middle of winter, you need to get it fixed.
Right.
If it's 110 degrees in Phoenix and your AC goes out, you need to get it fixed. It's past the want stage.
Right.
So it can be a little bit more direct.
I think there's some things components of that could help upsell a need or a want to a need. If you're layering your messaging over the course of the down season, perhaps to get ready for the up season, going back to the air purifier, or a whole home humidifier during the winter time. So just kind of layering that messaging to prime the customer for a go time. Like, oh, I've heard about all
Pre-sell?
of this stuff. Yeah, pre-selling type of stuff.
Planting seeds.
Yeah, planting the seeds.
Want
so you can
seeds.
Yeah. Plant those want seeds.
Yeah.
To reap the benefits when it's a need. But yeah, I think like there's different types of messages that you should be constructing for the different types of customers.
Right.
Some customers might have a broken pipe in their house, so they need a plumber right now. And some customers are looking to do a bathroom renovation. That's a want. So it goes back to like differentiating your content. The same with advertising. Differentiate your advertising to get your messaging and your brand in front of the customers that are looking for the value, the services that you have to offer.
Yeah, I think good, well-written branding ads can also be a great pathway to address consumers' wants, because it gives you a chance to tell your story in a way where the consumer sees your company as a good fit.
Yeah.
Because the story that you're telling is relatable to them.
Yeah. Just had the thought. I used to do customer video testimonials where we would capture the customer talking about the great things about the company, and then we would ask specific questions on like customer service, tech interaction, communication,
Right.
Answering cleanup, all the maintenance plan, all of these components. Well, what if a company asked the question on specific components,
Like accessories
to their home?
How did I know?
Because most companies are going to have a CRM. They're going to have all that data in
Is
there.
that a want?
A want?
An accessory?
Well, yeah, an accessory. But if we had asked questions specifically about whole home air purifiers, right? Then we could get 5 or however many customers talking about the benefits of their whole home air purifier. And now we can construct a 30-second commercial from actual customers who purchased an actual product.
Right.
And what a great authority marker, what a great piece of social proof, and what a great, hey, I want to be in the, with Mrs. Jones, keeping up with the Joneses, right?
That's true.
And moving forward with this want and changing it into a need. I think it was just an idea that I had.
No, that's a good one. It's needs and wants sounds simple, and it really is.
Yeah.
But writing correctly to relate to a consumer and help them through the buying cycle. Awareness, interest, action, desire, all that, desire, action, whatever.
Yep.
It's just something that people need to keep in the back of your mind. And when it comes to writing great advertising, needs and wants are different.
Yep.
And they can be combined, but not up at the front end.
Right.
So if you have questions about writing your commercials and creating your messaging strategy, let us know and we'll help you work through the process. And remember that good storytelling is really the best pathway to creating a connection between the consumer's wants and the solution that your business provides. I think that wraps it up.
That's a good episode.
Good. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next time.